how do you factor something like this? 3n squared minus 2n equals 645. I love this question. I love doing math problems with really, really huge numbers that you're never going to have to do. But you know, this is why AI and technology is created, guys. This is not something that's going to come up very often, but let me kind of give you some techniques that we can use to go through this. It says to factor, so I'm just going to get the 645 to the other side. So therefore I don't need to worry about it. Okay. All right. So I'm not going to worry about solving it. Let's just go ahead and factor from here. So what do you do on a problem like this? You could do the AC method, but then you're multiplying 3 times 645. And it's like, holy crap, that's going to be a really big number. And then I got to be able to find the common difference of those factors. That's going to give me a -2. Like, no, thank you. I would not go down that route. You could, and it's totally fine. And there's probably some techniques online that teachers might teach, or, you know, people like, that's perfectly fine. You can go down that route if you want to. What I would just do is, since I only have one coefficient here, I know I'm working with a 3n times an n. So I just need to find the two numbers that multiply to give me 645. And then I'm just going to work, and I'm just going to kind of work to see what is my inner and my outer products that are going to combine to give me a -2. Okay. So what numbers are going to multiply to give 645? Now that's a big number. I don't know these off the top of my head. So what I like to tell students is create a factor tree. The easiest numbers to determine if something is divisible by is going to be 2, if it's even, 5, if the last number is 5 or 0, right? 10, obviously, if the last number is 0, or 3. A lot of times 3 works. And there's also, I actually just made a video on like divisibility that you can use to check as well. But those are like rules. And unless you practice them, I don't think it's worth memorizing them. Okay. So immediately in here, I recognize that 645 can be broken in. I know it's divisible by 5, right? Because the last digit is 5. So how many times does 5 go into 645? Well, I know 6 goes into 100 20 times, right? And I have 6 of those, right? Because there's 600s. So therefore 6 times 20 is 120. So I got that covered. So 600 has 125s. And then I have a remainder of 45. And I know 45 is divisible by 5 9 times. So 9 plus 120 is 129. So I can say 129 times 5, right? You can break that up. And again, if you have a calculator, go and double check it, right? Multiply that back out, make sure it works. It works. Now we got to look at 129. Is this divisible by a certain number? Or is this a prime number, right? I hope it's not prime. Well, it would be great if it's prime, because that'd be my only two options to work with if this was a factorable polynomial. So let's go and check by 9, because if a number ends in 9, you know, a lot of times it could be factorable by 9. Or I know also it could be factorable by 3, right? Or a 7 sometimes can work as well. So if I go and check a 9, I know that 9 times 10 is 90. So therefore, then I would have a remainder of 39, but 9 is not evenly divisible by 39. So I know it's not divisible by 9. So let's break that down into 3, right? I know 3 goes into 3 goes into 90 30 times. Okay. And then from there, though, I'd have 39. Well, 39 is divisible by 3, right? So 30 plus 13 is 43. So now I can break this up into 43 times 3. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm talking my way through this, right? But the prime factorization of 645 is going to be 3 times 5 times 43. Now, when I'm looking into this a product, we got to break this up in two different ways. So we either got to say it's 3 times 5 and 43. We got to say it's 3 times 43 times 5, right? We got to say it's 5 times 43 times 3. Right? And group them those two ways, right? It has to be a grouping of one of these two. But again, remember, the difference of these two products has to be -2, right? Because 3 times something is going to give us the outer product, and n times something else is going to give us the inner product. So I immediately know the answer. 3 times 43 is going to be huge, because this other number that we're multiplying by is just multiplying by n, right? So think of this. This is like 3n times this, and this would be 5 times n. 5 times 43 is a huge number compared to 3 times n, right? 3n times, or actually it can't be that one. Oh, actually, yeah, it could be. But 3n times 43 is a huge number compared to 5. Look at this one. When I do 3 times 5, ladies and gentlemen, oh, sorry. I'm misspeaking. Whatever this product is, we are going to multiply by 3. I apologize. I was going a little bit ahead of myself. So we need to multiply this product by 3, because if you think about it, 3 times 5 is 15. When I multiply 15 times 3, that's going to give me 45. 45 and 43 have a difference of 2, right? Sorry, I was misspeaking earlier. I hope I didn't confuse you. But again, also, it needs to be a negative. So therefore, this is going to be a negative 15. And then over here has to be my positive 43. Voila. So if you have a little bit of experience with some number sense, you can figure this one out on your own. I think normally though, this would be a great question to like challenge my students, but in reality, ladies and gentlemen, if we're doing these bigger numbers, hopefully technology is going to be on your side.